Well, 2013 was a good year. The volume started on the low side following the commercial vehicle decline in 2012, but we grew throughout the year. The front-running Ford 6.7-liter V8 increased through the year and is now running at more than 15,000 engines per month. The Ford and Audi V6s were strong and stable through the year. They weren't affected at all by the European economy. And the VM Motori 3-liter V6 ramped up through the year, cracked the 100,000 engine equivalent barrier, and is now contributing at the same level as the Ford and the Audi V6s. And 75% of the growth in 2013 came from commercial vehicles, so we had contributions from every sector. Ultimately, with this activity, we reported record series production in October, record installation revenue in November, and at year-end, record revenue. So operationally, we did our job. We put the board in a good position to propose a fourth consecutive dividend to the shareholders. And we also have a very strong starting point for 2014 with an engine equivalent rate of 1.6 million per year. So that accounts for the measurables. But the feeling of 2013 comes from the industry's reaction to our progress. You know, the Ward's 10 Best Engine Award for the VM Motori 3-liter, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year Award for Ram, and of course the Ford petrol engine being regarded as a game changer in the industry. And so there's an increased feeling of credibility and acceptance in the industry. The OEMs, they want to hear what we have to say, and that's very rewarding and motivating. Well, the Ford petrol engine belongs on the top shelf of our achievements, together with the first production engine commitment from Audi in 1999 and the first high-volume engine commitment from Ford in 2001. We first announced the petrol engine at the 2012 AGM, and it's wonderful now that we can not only confirm that it's Ford, but also the highest-selling vehicle in North America. So it's difficult to get a better reference than that for our first petrol application. It also provides us with an opportunity to express sympathies for our 2013 AGM guest speaker, Terry Aldea, the global casting executive from Ford. When Terry agreed to support our AGM, we all thought that the petrol engine would be announced before the AGM. And even though his hands were tied, he still came and he supported our AGM. So thanks to Terry for that. The Ford petrol announcement has generated a lot of interest in the industry, and I think that interest will increase as the performance details are released and as the vehicle sales begin in the fourth quarter of 2014. But it's also interesting that in this all-aluminum F-150, Ford chose CGI for the engine, and that's exactly the same as the all-aluminum Jaguar XJ and the all-aluminum Audi A8. And so it's very interesting in these vehicles that are so open to the use of aluminum that they all choose CGI for the engine. And for me, that's the most powerful and clear statement to date of the benefits of CGI over aluminum in engine applications, not just for V diesels, but also now for V petrol engines as well. I think we've only used the word breakthrough 2 or 3 times in 20 years, but this is a breakthrough for SinterCast. It starts the competitive challenge for petrol engines. It gives us increased volumes directly from the engine. This is a very high volume engine, but also a knock-on effect from potential other petrol applications. And it gives us production in 4 of the 5 waves that we first introduced in 2002. So that shows a real track record of us putting forward our targets and hitting them. Well, again, that goes to track record. SinterCast identified pickups as a major growth opportunity almost 10 years ago, and now we've started to deliver on that. But let's begin with some interesting statistics. Last year, 50% of all passenger vehicles sold in America were classified as trucks. So that means pickups, SUVs, and crossovers. And the Ford F-Series has been the best-selling vehicle in North America for 32 consecutive years. The F-150, the Chevy Silverado, and the Ram 1500 are all forecast to be the top 3 selling vehicles from now until 2018. The Ford F-Series alone outsold all hybrids and plug-ins in North America by 29% in 2013. And with 17% growth last year, pickups were the fastest growing sector. And that's not just an American thing. Also in Europe and in China, SUVs and MPVs were the fastest growing sectors. So we made very good progress on pickups in 2013. The Ram diesel was launched and sales began on the 7th of February, and sales have been very strong in the first few weeks. Nissan announced our 5-liter V8 for the next generation Titan, and of course the Ford petrol engine. So this gives us 3 of the 5 pickups, with GM and Toyota still to play for. The fascinating thing is that the GM Chevy Silverado won the Truck of the Year award at the Detroit Auto Show, but everybody is talking about Ford and Ram. And we've always said that the auto industry is a follower industry, so now it remains to be seen how Ford and GM react to the diesel play from Ram and Nissan, and also how the industry reacts to the Ford petrol. What's clear is that pickups are strong and going to remain strong for as far as we can see, and SinterCast can benefit from that. The ductile iron development continued through the fourth quarter, and I was really pleased with the year-end progress review. In parallel with the technical development, we're also discussing and evaluating different options to start the commercialization. But we do acknowledge that the development has been slower than we would have liked. The fact is that the CGI side of the business got really busy during the second half of 2013. There were a lot of new installations, and some of these were bigger and more complex than normal, and they required the development of some new functionality. So we had to allocate some of our metallurgical and software resources to the core CGI priorities. And we have a very strong reputation in the field, and we don't want to put that at risk by not giving enough support to the CGI side of the business, or by bringing the ductile iron technology to the market before it's truly ready. So we carry on with the ductile iron development, but we also prioritize the CGI demand when necessary. And in the meantime, so that we don't have to choose in the future, we will also reinforce our R&D resources so we can be better and faster on all fronts. The option program was approved by the shareholders in 2009, and it ran for 4 years and finished in December. And we're happy to confirm that the program achieved the initial objective of the board and the shareholders of retaining, motivating, and rewarding the key staff. And indeed, all of the key staff stayed with the company throughout the duration of the program. In the lead up to the November-December exercise window, both the strike price and the share price were in the mid-50s. And so the board intended to use the authorization from the shareholders to compensate the employees in cash rather than exercising the shares in the market. But the market responded positively to our progress in October and November, and the share price increased. And with this increase, the board responded quickly and correctly and put together a strategy for exercising the shares in the market. And I think that we concluded that without any impact on the share or indeed any awareness. The first 3 years of the program were rather thin, but it was structured with 15% in the first year, 20%, 25%, and 40% to retain and encourage the staff throughout the 4-year period. And in the end, I think it worked out as a win for everybody. The board retained the key staff, the employees received reward and motivation, and the exercise of the options in the market increased the liquidity by 5.5 million crowns. So in the end, I think it was a really good program, well received by the employees, and a win for everybody.